leaders find themselves taking like big decisions constantly. What is the biggest decision you have ever made?
When it comes to coaching, I've not held a high enough job yet for the decisions to be particularly financial, which is what a lot of the big clubs in the world are worried about. Like if you don't achieve a certain position, you lose sponsorship, you lose your big players. Most of the clubs I'm at, or that I've worked at, the players are there because they sign up to that club. They want to be there, and therefore we're not making decisions that will affect lives. We're not making decisions that will affect families. If they don't want to play football anymore, they don't play football anymore. They're not earning millions. We've not got, like at the World Cup, the whole country is behind us. And so in that respect, I've not had to make too many earth-shattering decisions that keep me up at night. What I have had to make, because of the lifestyle I have, is more the personal things, like getting on a plane and going to a country thousands of miles away. I leave behind families, friends, food, cats, all that sort of stuff. I leave behind memories, places, customs. You have to adapt. That can be difficult. If I'm going to a country that is more similar to home, it's a lot easier. If I'm going to a country I've been to before, it's a lot easier. But going somewhere like here, never been here before, don't speak the language. It's the same as in Kuwait and in Singapore. They're very, very different countries, and it can be scary. You don't know anyone there, and you're almost blindly jumping into the abyss because you don't know what can happen. And sometimes you do get your fingers burnt, and it's not always sunshine and rainbows and lollipops. It can sometimes be quite hard. It can sometimes be quite lonely, and I've had to make some very tough decisions when it comes to relationships. Being a young man, I've always taken the decision that my career is more important now because I've got to work hard for it. When I'm older, got a bit more commitment, maybe a family, then it'll be, I might have to start thinking the other way. But while I'm young, I got to think more for myself. How often will I get the opportunity to come coach in Mexico? How often will I get the opportunity to go work for Arsenal in the Middle East? These things don't happen every day, and it's not as if you find these adverts in the newspaper. You've got to be good at what you do, and you've got to impress people to get these positions. And so I'm not going to work hard and then throw this decision away. I'm going to make the most of every opportunity that comes my way, and it can be hard. There's been a lot of tears, there's been a lot of heartbreak and a lot of pain, but I don't regret that because I think so far I've got every decision right. And it's very difficult, as I'm sure you know, to get every decision right in life, but you've got to weigh up the pros and cons and think about what you're gaining compared to what you're losing. My friends and family will always be there. England will always be the same. It's not going to move anywhere. Continental drift is about a couple inches a year. It will still be in the same place when I go back to it. But like I said, I might not get the opportunity to come to Mexico again. I've got to take this. I might not get the opportunity to go to Canada or anywhere else. I had to, right there and then, take it. And if these people are worth keeping in your lives, if they're worth being there in your lives, they will stay, regardless of your choice.
And why did you take the job in Mexico City?
Well, about this time last year, I was working in Kuwait. Not the most friendly of places. It's okay if you're English because everyone likes football. And so as soon as they find out you're English, you're their best friend. And they'll all tell you, I support Arsenal, Chelsea, Bayern Munich and Real Madrid. They're my 4 favourite teams. It's a very different culture to us. I mean, back home you have one team, and you certainly don't like 2 teams in the same country, but that's how they deal with it. And the job itself, it was more like a school than a club, in that Kuwait does not have an infrastructure for youth development, for youth teams. And so the games we played were friendlies against other teams. There was no league. The players become demotivated with that. You've not got an end goal you can achieve, and you're just working off of a curriculum. Here we got teams, we can achieve stuff. we can go on a journey with that team. We can win stuff. We can make them better. We can experience the highs and lows, the roller coaster that is being part of a football team. Out there, we couldn't really do that. And we were trying hard to create a league with some of the other people who felt the same way, but it was going to be difficult. Kuwait's a place where it's difficult to make friends because they're very family orientated, and although they're friendly, everyone I met was friendly, you're not going to get invited to many family events because you're simply not family. And so who you can associate with outside of work, it's quite limited in that sense. There's a lot of things out there you can't get. For me particularly, I struggled with not having real bacon. I had to put up with turkey bacon for 3 months, and it was a nice attempt, but you know you're lying to yourself. But what really got me, and this is where it comes into leadership, is I could not tolerate she was a boss. I like to say there's 4 of us coaches there. The head coach, the boss, and then there was a guy who thought he was the boss. Completely insufferable. They were aggressive. They were racist at times. They were really actually quite racist. They would make people feel terrible about themselves. Talking about the kids, we're talking about the parents, we're talking about the staff, talking about admin staff and fellow coaches. I mean, they were absolutely horrible to us. I remember one instance where the boss actually shouted at a parent and belittled her in front of the kids. And anywhere else, you'd lose your job. If you belittle a parent, if you're rude to a parent, you're gone. And they were 2 very intense people that had no friends. All they had was the job. And they became unbearable to be around. And this isn't just me. I can bring up contacts to testify to that. They've got a very high turnover of staff. People will go to Q8 and think, oh, it's not too bad. Spend a week with them and go, oh, I need to get out of here. I cannot tolerate being with these people anymore. They're completely unfriendly. You have no respect for them. They give you no respect. And I wanted to change. I was on 3 months, and after that 3 months, we're going to readdress the situation and possibly discuss a potential contract extension. And it would have been for a lot of money, about 3 or 4 times what I can earn in Mexico. But money is not more important than happiness. I could not tolerate another 12 months of that, regardless of how much I was earning, being happy every day, not wanting to go to work. I mean, this is a job that I absolutely love. I mean, the sacrifices I've made to be here, I love it. And they made me not want to do it. They made me reconsider. And then I found a way out. I thought, I'll try, see what else is available. Found a job in Mexico. Thought, I want to go try something different, learn a new language. That was a big part of it. And my Spanish has been going very well. It's a lot easier than Arabic. It's the same way as English, so you're reading it from right to left. That helps. Same characters, and a lot of the words are the same, just with an O on the end, like sarcastico. I like that. But being English, we don't know many languages other than our own. We might know the odd phrase like bonjour. That's about it. It's a very English thing to expect everyone else to speak our language, and I don't really want to be that. I want to learn and discover and explore and improve myself as a person, and I'm hoping I can do that here. So I saw the job in Mexico, I applied for it, had a couple of interviews, and got it. And not my proudest moment, but when I finished in Q8, they said, so, knowing full well that I've got this job in Mexico, so Will, what are you going to do when you leave Q8? I don't know. Might spend some time with family, friends, maybe travel a bit of Europe. I don't know. Because I wanted them to think I'd rather go home and be unemployed than work for them. Which, it's a bit petty and childish, but that's how I felt about them. I didn't want them thinking, well, he's leaving us to go on to better things. I wanted them thinking he's going home to do nothing because he'd rather do nothing than be with us. That's how I want them to feel.